Right, we're live. Hi everyone. Just wait for some people to come in.
Oh,
What a mad couple of days, eh?
oh, it's crazy.
You still there?
Hello, are we
Hello.
live?
Yeah, we're live.
Hi.
I don't know what happened there. You kind of disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, how are you today anyway?
Yeah, not too bad. Just still trying to get my head around everything that I'm reading.
Well, it's been a long week, hasn't it? Because you guys have been over in Preston at the Inquest, haven't you, as well?
Yes, yeah, we did pop there
So
to go, which I'm glad we did
I went
because
there too. Got to meet you.
yeah, I'm glad
Nice
we
on
kind of did
Monday.
because hold on, someone's just asked for the link. I'll just try and post the link. Why
So
isn't it working?
yeah, we went to Preston. I only went down for the day, and our friends went to the inquest to observe it, and it was really good to catch up with teammates face to face, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was lovely, lovely to meet you.
Really nice. It's good just to sort of see you guys and spend some time with you, and kiddos were there as well.
Yeah, mad couple of days. But
Yeah,
we wanted to go to it because we wanted to know for ourselves. Because clearly, since day dot, there's been lots of rubbish and not the truth coming out, and we wanted to kind of hear it for ourselves. So
yeah, we wanted to hear the full story, not the edited story that you sometimes get from any like local newspapers that might work in affiliation
yeah,
with,
no,
say, the
exactly.
police and stuff.
But please pop into the chat and let us know you're here. Um, so yeah, we took a couple of days just to get our heads around everything. We have been watching what's been put out as well. So, and to be honest, we just literally can't get our heads around some of the rubbish that people are still trying to portray out there. So, there's a couple of things that we wanted to touch on first, and then we're going to go into the inquest part and basically show you how much the police have just literally, I can't even think of the word for it. They've just
Well,
lied since the day she went
they've
missing,
steered
really.
the investigation in their way. In my opinion, this is how I describe it. They steered it in their way, and I think put words into people's mouths and gagged people from speaking about the case as well.
Yeah.
And because of this attitude, that's led to a lot of the rumor mill starting.
Yeah, and I don't think that's
Um,
helped. I really don't think that's helped her
It's not at
family.
all, because people tend to speculate then, because if they don't know the truth and they speculate. And I use a comparison of April Jones, and how when she went missing and was found, the Welsh police over, I think it's Mid Wales, they told everyone what was happening. They appealed for volunteers. They kept everyone up to date. It's understood that the person that committed the atrocities, I'm not even going to say his name, but he actually inserted himself into the search. That's another story. But the police were amazing. Really, really good, well handled case. And nobody's got any complaints there. But when it
No.
comes down to how Nikki's case was dealt with, it was a case. It was very blindsided. It was the blinkers on. They've decided she's in the river, and they didn't search. Through some of the research of the people in the social media, we've discovered that factually, she wasn't. The caravan park wasn't searched for 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks for the CCTV footage from the Grapes pub and
Yeah,
the
the great
garage
pub, yeah.
to be sent out to the police, and reviewed by them again. So that's obviously take a bit longer. And in a case of a missing person, yes, that's quick, don't you? 2 weeks. It's just, it blows my mind. It really does.
But yeah,
And we had to call him an inquest, and he's sorry, he back gagged us, didn't he? He put a gagging order on, and I don't know, because I'm a little bit, Tom, is he doing it to protect the police because they are just, when they do open their mouth and say something, it's making the whole situation worse?
I don't know. I honestly cannot even get my head round. No name, all of the above. When did Keith Barlow enter the field? I don't know who you're on about there. So yeah, the couple of things I just want to touch on that we've seen for the last couple of days is on Facebook. The family, we have seen how heartbroken the family and the friends are, and the grief that these guys have been getting, which again I don't think has helped because of how the police and the press have been releasing information out there. So, you know, ourselves was literally, you know, in the inquest, her mum, her dad, her sister, and Paul were literally sobbing when they was hearing information. So for us personally, you know, we've
It's
never been about
heartbreaking.
the family. We've always been about how the police have handled this case.
That
So
family have been through so
yeah,
much, right? It's just, I've been through losing my partner and having to tell my kids that their dad had died, and that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my whole life.
yeah,
And they're having to do that and to deal with their grandkids, stroke kids. It's awful. And then on there's that layer, and then there's another layer, and it's all the trolling and people going through their personal affairs, and spreading speculation about them personally and about every aspect of their lives. They've had it all, and
yeah,
that is like just whoa, too
yeah.
much, too much.
Enough is enough. Like, you know, we can understand from some sense, but I personally believe that everything that was being said, what they could release, and how they could say things, I think the police were telling them what to say and what to do, which
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, the first
high
when
ethics
first time
not
they did a
to do.
press release as a family, I think that they were told, don't mention this, don't mention that, say this, say that, and then afterwards, when like, let's face it, the police exposed a lot of personal information about Nikki, then the family were then persecuted for, well, they didn't tell us that, did they?
No,
And let's get this straight, they were told by the police not to tell, not to talk about it.
yeah, which hasn't
They
helped.
were told not to. So if I were in the family, I suppose I'd feel really angry about that. Definitely.
You know, they want to just be able to grieve, sorry, for the loss of someone that they clearly loved dearly,
Yeah.
and all of this has put a damper on it. And I think it's now time to just, you know, stop it now. And it's some of the things that I've read the last few days over Facebook has shocked me. Like, there's rumours that apparently Louise and her husband are no longer together. That's absolute rubbish. They're still
That's
together
BS. Yeah.
just because he wasn't in the inquest with her. Maybe there wasn't room. He was at the inquest. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, maybe he was looking after the kids and stuff like that. You just don't know. That people speculate for all a manner of reasons. Another thing that's very normal is for during an inquest is a lot of people don't go to it. It's not always it's not like a funeral where you go and pass on your regards. An inquest is a legal process, and quite often, like my friend has an inquest for his partner or his wife died not so long ago. He was the only person there. It was him and the coroner. That was it.
Yeah.
We had a doctor on link, and he was just, just went through it all with the coroner, because he just wanted to get it out of the way, and he didn't want all the family being called in, because it's just upsetting for people, isn't it?
Yeah, but it just seems like, no matter what they do, nothing will be right. Someone else is going to be out there trying to spread rumors, trying to make things up, and it's just got to stop. You're not helping at all, really, by doing what you're doing. And
Yeah,
what's the other thing I saw about Louise wearing a dress that Nikki gave to her?
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, personally, I think that's a really touching thing. But they're saying how disgusting, and it's like, it's not. She wants to be close to her sister. There is nothing. I would do that.
100 million. I've got a sister, and if anything was to happen to her, everything she's ever got me, would be held, so close. And to go and wear a dress that she bought her on an important day like that, that's absolutely fine. She's going there in the memory of a sister, to deal with and hear about her sister's death, which is so painful.
Yeah,
And that, if that dress makes her feel like her sisters are sitting on her shoulder a little bit,
yeah, and giving her
then
support and making her feel strong, then that's all that matters. No one has
yeah,
any right to say anything about that. And that, when I saw that, it did rile me up. I was like, how dare you say that? You can't turn around and say that if you had lost your sibling, you would not wear, if you wore a bit of jewellery of theirs, or something just to make you feel closer to them, to give you support while you're having to do something that you never in a million years thought you'd have to do. What's the harm in it? Yeah, that did
yeah.
me up. I was so
And
angry with that.
well, when I went to the coroner's inquest with my partner, I had on my gold chain that he bought for me. That I felt that was my connection to him while I was there. I don't wear it all the time, because it's sacred now. It's sentimental to me. And but I wore it then, and when I do wear it, I always feel that he's sat on my shoulder. And that's the same thing, isn't it, with a dress?
Right, Essex
But
boys.
the whole
Can
family, the amount of rumours that have gone round, and people saying that medical records have been leaked out of Blackpool Hospital, for instance. Absolute coswallop
Yeah, and that's
bullshit.
been proved to be wrong.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
people who were sharing it and monetising themselves, because we're not monetised, we don't get any money for this. I was watching all the footage about Nikki, and I was just getting increasingly touchy about it all, because the fact of the matter is, I've gone through something similar myself, as in my partner passed away, but he was in a coma, so he was missing, as in not in this world. He was, we're hoping he'd come back to consciousness in that sense. But what that family have gone through is a million times worse than what I've gone through.
no,
And
definitely.
seeing all the rumors and the way that family have been treated by
Right.
certain people, and the money that's been made by certain people, it's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
It
Essex
really,
boys.
really
But
upsets me.
can I say something about the dress? It's lovely. It's if it's not announced, it should be a family thing, not a public. Otherwise, people see it as different things. Well, she didn't do it publicly. She done it in the inquest, and obviously, someone else has been in the inquest and heard that and then passed it on. So it wasn't a public thing. She's done it in the inquest. But again, who are we to judge? No one should judge on that. No one knows how it feels till you're in that situation. And
Oh, 100%.
judge.
I think it's beautiful. She's done that beautiful, because it's just that she lost her sister at the end of the day. There's only her and two girls, sisters, and she's lost her one and only sister, and that is tragic in itself, isn't it? And if she feels comforted by wearing that dress that her sister gave her, I totally understand, and I would do the same.
Yeah, no name all above. No, I haven't seen any Daily Mail online yet. I'll have a look after this, and see what it is about. But no doubt
But
it's
I just want to say that in the inquest, though, we did get quite a lot of information that they've been holding back. No, I don't think that we've had all the information, because they haven't gone into any information about what the police have been investigating, and how they can rule out third party. They haven't actually said what investigations they've done to be able to rule out a third party so confidently. I just, but they did come up with the autopsy results, which were no alcohol in her system.
yep, absolutely
There, here we
no
go.
alcohol.
Lancashire Police, no alcohol in her system.
Yeah, and why haven't Lancashire Police come out and apologised about that?
Yeah, I think an apology is absolutely warranted there.
And this is
You have
why everyone got,
scandalised.
yeah, this
They,
is
they,
why
they,
everyone got their back up. They got their
yeah,
back up about it because they released that information, and stuff like that. But
and that's led
it
to
wasn't
so many
true.
people speculate. Oh, she was drunk. She fell in. She was just had a drink. She was fell in, and that's not true. That is not true, and we can categorically say that it's not true. And that rumour came directly from Lancashire Police. So well done there.
Yeah,
Let's hear your apology,
and
Lancashire
and it
Police.
shows you that inside investigation that they had regarding all of that, and there was no wrongdoing. Well, clearly there was.
And can I add as well, that's all they investigated when they did this internal investigation. It was only centred around the way that the police divulged that information. They haven't actually looked taken a big step back from the whole case and looked at how the overall investigation was conducted, as to how they didn't make a crime scene.
Yep.
You know, there's I could write a list. I could write a book about what they could have done differently to preserve a crime scene and make things easier. What if they'd got everyone off the field at Dot and taken them all to the footprints, the people they knew who were there, and they might and maybe got they can work wonders now with footprint technology. They might have been able to grab a footprint from Nikki's home and get her footprints and match it to the field, and then they could find where she walked on the field and if she fell in. And oh my God forbid, it might even show footprints in the river water. You know, when
Yep.
she stepped in, it was muddy, wasn't it? They said.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if she fell in and went to stand up in the river, there could have been a footprint. But this is making me sound like I believe that she went in that river that day, and I don't think she did. So,
So,
but
George, I'm glad you brought that up. Where is Emma gone? So, Emma, she didn't attend the inquest. She got advised to not attend the inquest, for her own safety, because Emma has literally had threats against the children. She's had threats against her. So she was too scared to go to her own friend's inquest due to all of this. Why do people find it's in their mind to actually do something like that to someone? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not their place to threaten someone. I know I'm going to sound really bad here with this one, but it's the police's job. And I know they haven't done the job. And the reason why the family are going through like they are is literally because of some of the stuff that they've come out with. You know, all I could really see, and I could really see it now from the inquest, that, you know, Emma was just being a friend. She was just trying to get Nikki's name out there. She was just trying to find her, and the police haven't
yeah,
done the situation with her. So, you know, I do really feel for her that she couldn't go to her
I've
own.
got another rant coming on about another Gen rant coming on forever. That girl has had hell. She's been slagged off. Oh yeah, she wears fake eyelashes. Okay, so what, right?
Yeah. So the
That's
100
the
grand.
best of it. Then it gets worse. People divulging where she lives, her
Yeah.
companies, what she does for a living.
So that
Um,
100 grand GoFundMe page that not Nikki, that Emma apparently set up. Yeah, I do know. I understand. I found that strange at first, but it has been explained that that was to pay for Peter Falding.
yeah,
And you know,
Peter
and yeah,
Folding kindly decided to do it for free.
he decided to do it free. So yeah, that obviously,
That money should go to the kids, I think.
yeah, and it was
Or towards them growing up as well. You know, take them on a holiday to Disneyland and help them forget this absolute hell. Kids are not stupid. They would pick up on stuff that's being said about their dad and their Auntie Emma, I can imagine. And those kids need to have a bit of time out, I think. I just take them to Disneyland and to get them into some private therapy, pay for some really good therapy for them. Therapy helped my daughters. They had bereavement therapy to get over the loss of their dad, and I think that I might be jumping the gun. I think maybe Nikki's family have already arranged for them to have therapy, but it's that money should be spent on those girls, rehabilitating them after this horrible experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, but no, I just that the fact that Emma couldn't even go to Nikki's inquest, I just due to the fact that for her own safety, that was just like, enough's enough. Just let the family be now.
Yeah, when I seen Emma talking, I just saw a girl who could very much be any one of my friends talking, saying, "Find my friend's missing." And I do the same for my friends for sure. I would be the one that would stand in front of the camera and say that, even though I don't like going on camera. I would do it.
Same as.
Because she loves her friends and she cares about her friends and she wants her friends to be found. And at first, they didn't know what has happened. And I suppose as time was ticking by, they were still trying to keep on to hope, weren't they, and positivity.
Yeah.
And so it's not just Nikki's family. It's if all her friends have been through all that rigmarole, and then obviously she was discovered, and they knew what happened to her. And then they've had to deal with that as well, which was not the outcome that they wanted.
No.
But the way that
anyway, that being on the friends, I could be here all night talking about that, but
yeah,
and the friends and family, but we just wanted to basically put that out there. So
I just want to say I support the family 100%. I'm really sorry if I've ever offended you. I don't think I have said anything offensive personally, but I just really, really hope that you guys get left alone now.
Yeah,
that's point.
Yeah. We've always been about the police side of things in a way.
Yeah.
But after coming out of the inquest and seeing how much the family were literally having to go through with everyone, yeah, Joe literally broke out crying because obviously seeing them all crying.
Yeah,
it's, enough's enough. It literally is enough now. So let's get onto the police side of things.
Yeah.
So what actually doesn't help the situation is, so from the inquest, the timeline of what was placed out into the inquest to what they was actually releasing when Nikki was missing has completely changed.
So the timeline that they were showing in the press conferences is completely different to the timeline they showed in the coroner's inquest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing that was right was the fact that what time Nikki left and the time that Nikki arrived at the school. Everything else that they was putting out through the papers and everything was literally confusing. And how many times did it change while Nikki was missing as well?
Yeah. Well, they changed it a few times, didn't they, between press conferences, I think, as additional information came in. But if that timeline had changed, wouldn't it just be sensible to notify the public of the changes to timeline? Because maybe that might lead on to further information to them. If they said, well, actually she wasn't walking down the road at this time, she's walking down 5 minutes earlier or later, people might have CCTV coverage in the cars.
So yeah, so we now, I'm just trying to find the notes that we written down. So we now know that Penny was in the field at 9:33. And she walked, so basically out of her place to the weir and then come around the back way out to over the stye. And that's where she see Willow and the phone. And the harness. So she obviously tied her dog up and went to tie Willow up. Ron was in the field.
Ron, is that his real name though?
No, Roger. He was in the
we
field.
found out everyone's real names.
Hold on, I'm getting confused on my timeline here. Sorry. Yeah, he was in the field with his wife. After Penny, and they tried to get Willow out of the area, but Willow wouldn't move, and it was because.
So Ron is called Roger Jones. So what's his wife's name? I've
got it here somewhere.
Because she was mentioned, wasn't she?
Yeah. So Roger and his wife didn't actually leave their house till 9:45. And this is what I mean. If you remember back to that Sky News that he done when they stopped him in the middle of the field, he was saying he was trying to ring his wife was trying to ring him, and Penny was trying to ring his wife. It's just all made up.
Yeah, that was Sky, wasn't it, that did that interview with him, calling him Ron, and I think he just got kind of captured by the media, didn't he, and pounced upon.
I can't find the name. So many notes there, but I think it's Susan.
Oh,
I have to look.
Does anyone in chat know? Is it Susan?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So his wife. Yeah, because he mentioned his wife, didn't he, when he was getting interviewed? His wife had received calls, and then they both turned up there. So we've got the names of them, and so they're. Are they? So was that they were both there together on the field then with the phone,
yes,
and then his wife
with Anne Marie. So I think Penny had rung them to say about Willow being there, and so they left their house at 9:45 to go over to the field. So they went over to the field. Obviously tried to get
Penny
away from the
Penny
area.
gave evidence. Penny gave evidence, didn't she? She said
she did. She done it via video evidence.
Was it through the video? Oh, right.
Yeah. But then again, that's probably because, for her own safety, because how people are being.
Yeah.
So they
She
got
didn't want
Willow
to-
out of the area, and then Anne-Marie obviously noticed the photo on the screen as being Nikki, so she rung the school. The school obviously then rung Paul, and then on Paul left the house, which is on CCTV, leaving the house and everything. So he left the house, and as he left the house, he rung Anne-Marie Fletcher, just to say, I think Ron and Susan said it felt like that Paul had turned around and said Nikki had been struggling. So it wasn't that
Oh,
Marie rung Paul, Anne-Marie rung the school, and then the school rung Paul. So that is how it went about. Because I know people have said that Anne-Marie rung Paul and stuff like that, and that's all,
so
that's all
Anne-Marie rings the school and then the school rings Paul because I
Yep.
suppose they can't give out
And then
Paul's
Paul
phone
rings,
number.
then Paul rings 999. So, if you know that one of your partner's friends is there at the scene, you would ring them straight away, wouldn't you, to say what's going on before you ring 999. So I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. I think I'd be phoning the people who if I knew the person and their number and things, that if I knew they were there, I'd be asking, are you there and what's going on, and did you see, because I think Anne-Marie's got kids in that school, hasn't she, as well? So maybe Anne-Marie could have seen Nikki at school.
Yeah, yeah. So, from that timeline that's come out, that with Ron leaving their house at 9:45, he was saying when he got caught by Sky News that he was at the field at 9:30 and stuff like that. So he clearly got, literally stopped in his tracks. That was all made up. Yeah, so it's just all that timeline that they gave out to the press and the public. None of it was right from what has been said now. That's why half of this is a lot of speculations going about.
Yeah, if the police had opened up and just been open and honest about the investigation and got their facts right, because they did that very first interview that the police did, like, she didn't even know how Nikki has got between Inskip and St Michael's. She was asked that question by one of the journalists and she didn't know.
Yeah.
The first thing about doing a press release, a press conference, is to get your facts together, isn't it? Make sure you know everything and be prepared for all the questioning that you have. It's not really rocket science to do that. You just get all your, you're in charge of your officers. You say to them, come and tell me everything that you know, and you ask the questions preemptively, and build your own timeline of things from the day that she, on that day, what time did Nikki wake up? That's what they want to know. Did she wake up? What happens at home? What happens when she left home? What happens? How did she get from A to B to get to St Michael's? Yeah, it's not rocket science.
No, it's not.
I know other police forces do a really good job as making this path, and then you've got to do your victimology as well, as in who the person is. Are they a high risk person? And the police assess this to say yes, she was, but then they disclosed a load of personal information about Nikki, which was inaccurate. So I think Lancashire Police have got a lot to answer for, really.
Yeah,
I've got big ears listening for a big apology to the
totally.
family.
So someone's just put about the man in black. So apparently the man in black was dismissed because he got seen at the end of allotment lane by the road, and when the guy had walked around the field and come back. Apparently, he was still there at the end of Lockman Lane by the field. So the timeline there for him being in the field where Nikki was doesn't add up. Or sorry, I'm just trying to.
Is this the man in black?
Yes. Yes.
The famous man in black.
Yeah.
Has he been identified by the police,
No.
or do they know who he is, and have they spoken
No.
to him?
He hasn't been identified, but apparently he got taken out of the equation because of where he was. He was at the actual roadside of the allotment lane rather than in the field.
And that takes all of about 2 minutes to walk
Yep.
back again.
Yeah, exactly.
We were there the other day, and it's just it is really small when you see it on the telly. It looks a lot bigger, but it is literally allotment lane is just next to Penny's Fields. It just runs down the sides of Penny's Fields, the top ends. So that would literally, for a person walking at pace, he could get back there in 2 minutes easy.
Yep. So this Claire Chesham saw obviously Penny Fletcher at 9:10, but Penny Fletcher was not walking her dog. She was not in the field. She was literally in her garden, so to speak. I don't know what you would call that area where she does all her farming and stuff. So she
the entrance to entrance to where everyone goes with booking the caravans.
Yeah, so I know people said, well, how can Penny be seen at like 9:15, but then not actually be seen at 9:15, but they're saying that she saw the phone and at 9:33, but she got seen leaving the CCTV of her house. So that's again is another. Nikki's last interaction with her phone was at 9:18. She used the volume buttons on the side of her phone. From 9:20 to 9:33, the phone did not move until Penny Fletcher picked it up at 9:33. So from 9:18 to the 9:20, they believe at 9:22, that's when they believe that Nikki fell into the river wire, the dangerous river wire. So, because Nikki's heartbeat on her Fitbit, that was the highest peak of her heart rate was at 9:22. That's when they believed that the shock happened.
That going into cold water, it really it does affect you. It's horrible. I can completely understand the shock phenomenon, but to categorically say it happens to everyone, no, it doesn't. Look at people who survived the Titanic disaster. A lot of the people that survived were submerged in that freezing cold Atlantic water, and rescued and warmed up, and they survived, and that is a fact.
Yep.
There are other people who have fallen into cold water and survived. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to give you a heart attack. It's I think that's an assumption again, another assumption, isn't it? Maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just replying to someone in chat. Penny was seen leaving the Wyreside Caravan Park CCTV camera to walk her dog. So I think that was 9:20. She was seen.
What time was that? 9:20.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it all because it's all so literally.
Yeah,
I wrote
because
down, wrote
nine
it
twenty
down.
two was when her pulse went up, wasn't it? And she last moved.
9:22 was when the pulse went up. Um, do you know what? I think it would just be easier to get the timeline off.
But the Fitbit detected a trace of heartbeats, didn't it, as well?
Yes.
And this has caused a lot of speculation. This is something I was reading up on quite a lot because it's a phenomenon because people have watched their loved ones pass away, and then their Fitbit still registers them as alive, with showing a heartbeat. And this has confused a lot of people. This is before Nikki went missing. If you look on the question and answers of Fitbit, you'll find it. So this is a weird phenomenon, which I don't really understand.
No, but apparently on the old Fitbit sites, people have been saying that this it does tend to happen.
Yeah,
You would have to have your Fitbit in swim mode for it to record properly. So that, it is a bit of a I'm not 100% sure about it. It's one of those things you'd have to do it yourself to work out whether it's true or not. The only thing I do not understand is the fact that the Fitbit lasted for 8 days before it powered off.
yeah, because
It,
that would have been on in the cold water, and
yeah,
I
and
don't
they
know.
say,
Does the Fitbit have GPS on it as well?
yeah,
That's,
yeah. But that's the thing, they were saying it wasn't synced to her phone, but then all of a sudden they've got all this information off it.
yeah, all they've done is put it on, recharged it, and then then you can resync it again, and it saves all the information.
I will save it.
Yeah, it saves it.
Yeah.
I've got a Fitbit. I've got a Fitbit which is the same as Nikki's, and mine is powered off. Because I'm not exactly the most organised person, and you have to plug it into a special charger. And I mean, I'm bugger for losing that charger. It's always going missing. So it might go for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't charge it, and then I'll plug it in to charge it, and then all the old data from 2 or 3 weeks ago comes in. And then there's a gap of information while it was off, and then I start using it again, and then I start getting the up to date information. But you do have to actually force a sync. It doesn't automatically sync on that type of Fitbit. You have to force it. I usually force it when it's plugged in on charge because it uses a lot of battery power. So while it's on charge, I'll make it sync to my phone, and then I've got the data, and then everything's all up to date, and then I just put it back on my wrist and start using it again.
Yeah. No, see, I've got a Samsung, so I'm really clued up on the old Fitbits.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. I've used it, like we all had them in university,
yeah.
because we were talking about futurology and how, like maybe a Fitbit like type device could save your life if it could trace your heart. But obviously the version that Nikki and myself have got don't have they're supposed to trace your heartbeat, but it's a little bit ambiguous, that really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hearing what I'm hearing, if it can detect it on a dead person.
And the fact that it lasted 8 days, Fitbits don't even last 5 days, from what I've read up on it. I think the maximum charge would last 5 days if it's not hardly used.
I think again it depends. If you're interacting with it a lot, it'll go. The battery will go down. I think mine lasted. I think I say about a week. It was about once a week. So yeah, about 8 days. It would have been about right. But then again, if she just charged it, then I don't understand why she didn't sync her data as well while it was on charge.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
Because
know.
they're really like to look at. All you say is it on the display is the time. That usually just displays the time, and then you can, and then you just click on the button, and it'll go to things like your heart rate and steps taken. You go through it, you toggle through it that way.
Yeah. Has everyone seen this famous video that the police made on the route they reckon that Nikki took when she went into the water?
I'm glad you mentioned that. What's everyone's thoughts on that? I just want to say big hi to who we've seen today. Essex boys, hi. Bad Fairy. Who's Good Fairy? We're outing you,
Yeah.
you Good Fairy. George Robertson, hello.
Yeah, so what's everyone's fault?
David Fairy as well, big shout.
The footage that they used in the inquest to show.
So that's with the man, isn't it? He explains he's been seconded to the Nicola Bulley case, and then he gets in the water on his own with a handheld camera, and then he goes and films himself going at the riverbank where by the bench, and then he talks about the water levels. I'm gonna say I could see his shadow when in the area when he said it was deep, and it wasn't. I could see his shadow look like he was standing.
And he reckoned he was floating a good part of that river. But I'm sorry, but if you're in water, and you're floating, can you turn as easily as he did with the camera?
I'd say not, because if you're floating, like genuinely floating, no, because you're controlling you're keeping your head out the water, really, aren't you, when you're floating?
Water, wouldn't you?
And you'd see if he's treading water, you'd see like emotion on the camera where he's treading water, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It'd be bobbing up and down if you're treading water.
Them saying that that part of the river, it was fast flowing, and how fast that they said that Nikki would have travelled. So I don't know if you remember, we got a lot of stick about this. Excuse the pun, but we threw a large log into that river. Okay. And if you haven't seen it, have a look on our YouTube page, and you'll see it. So bearing in mind, when we went, the river was a lot higher than the day that he done his video and the day that Nikki fell in. So we threw this log in, and it floated to the left. So it floated upstream. It got stuck in that tree that was to the left of the bench, where it didn't move about 20 minutes. Okay. So
that's that overhanging tree, isn't it?
And then after 20 minutes, it finally come loose. And I still wouldn't say that it floated quickly to the weir. It took quite a time for it to go round. But one thing that amazes me about this video is that, so he's got in, he's obviously pushed himself out, he walked himself out into the middle, and then he's made sure he's gone the right way. He hasn't done it in a way that he's, let himself float and go the way that the river would take him, because absolutely everything we threw into that river, it always went to the left. It went upstream. So it amazes me that only would, like, Nikki fell in. He's saying that she floated all this way to the weir, did not get stuck in any of the reeds or anything. Managed to miss all of the overhanging trees, managed to miss all the banks, go over that weir, float all the way around to under the bridge and not be seen.
I've seen the river recently,
and underneath the snag acid. half of the river at some point there. Yeah. But this is not on that video. No. No, Joe's
Hang on a
just
minute, my cat's
the
meowing outside.
diver said there was a bit on the river that she could have come out of there. But it just amazes me that, you know, the fact that she, you know, managed to maneuver herself as this is how they're coming across with it. Okay. So she's managed to maneuver herself. So not only has she not managed to sink, which, you know, I don't want to say it like this because, you know, at the end of the day, this is a person's life. But when someone falls into water and they inhale all of this water, 2 liters, I think they said, you know, and then the clothes that she had on, the fact that it's winter, it would have gave her a little bit of buoyancy for a little while, but then she would have sunk. So there's no way that she would have managed to get all the way round to the weir before she sunk. It's just not possible.
Because she's she's wearing wellies and stuff, so they're gonna like fill it with water a little bit, aren't they? I think like initially, like to my mind, if I fell in there, I would be a little bit shocked by the cold, but I think you'd still have enough in you to grab onto the bank and pull yourself up onto the because there's like a little area of grass that's lower down. You'd get yourself up on there, maybe get your bum up on there to safety. You know, she's supposed to be an experienced swimmer. Some people are calling her a holiday swimmer now. That as a new phrase. I think that's holiday swimmer.
What it? They called her a holiday swimmer. Yeah, the police used that in the inquest. So, the post-mortem only posted that there was watery fluid in her lungs and stomach. Did not state what sort of fluid was in her lungs and stomach. So, yeah,
you'd think that forensics would check that.
Yeah, but that wasn't mentioned. It's just come out as watery fluid.
Well,
again,
they need to compare that water to the river water, you know, or is it fresh water, or is there blood in it?
Yeah. So I am trying to read the comments as I go. Oh, is this about that Angela Fletcher comment?
Angela Fletcher. Yeah. Jessica Fletcher. I always think sorry when I read that. Yeah, but you might remember Murder, She Wrote. No Super Chuffer was talking about that as well the other day. So she went. So she's been to Garstang police about some information about her brother-in-law. So she's reported something to the police.
Yeah,
I think that the police just want to hear that it was an accidental thing, and I'm glad that the outcome was accidental death for Nikki's family, because it's easier to explain to the kids, isn't it? It was an accident. She fell in the river, but whether or not I believe that is another matter, because I don't think that every angle's been looked at here.
I don't think it has. You know, the
personally
said he doesn't know how Nicola got into the water, but he believed it was an accident. There wasn't enough evidence for suicide.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, I don't think no one's ever going to know how she ended up.
I'm just going to have to nip off a minute, guys. I've just got to sort the cat out. Hang on a second.
So yeah, going back to the video. So once the guy had gone round the corners and walked over all the shallows, when he got to the weir, he lifted his legs up to get over the weir and push himself down. So I don't know how they could really account that that video as what really, he was keeping himself away from the edges, and he did walk a lot of it. But yeah, when I watched that video, yeah, and it stopped on the corner where the sandy bank is. So it would have been interested if he carried on towards the bridge, because obviously I think everyone's seen by the video, the pictures and that out there, it does get really shallow. So yeah, it'd be really, really interesting if he's done that, but no, he stopped on the edge.
It was really. We saw the weir. Like I couldn't get near to the weir because I can't climb snails, and I really didn't want to try it by that river. But I did have a look around the surrounding area whilst I was there, and that to call that what was the terminology you used for a fast flowing river?
Yeah,
It's definitely not.
but the thing is,
If you doubt it, go and look for yourself.
Yeah, how fast he reckons that Nikki floated to get to the weir. I know it's tidal after the weir, but 23 days they didn't find her, and she had hoped when they finally did find her, it she had only travelled a mile.
They said, didn't they say that she'd managed to go all the way down to the weir within 6 minutes?
Yeah,
that was what I heard. I'm not having that. I'm sorry. I don't think even a log could get there in 6 minutes.
Yeah, but like Joe,
not a person. Sorry, is Joe jumping in?
Yeah, she just said, they want us to believe that she died within seconds. So she died within seconds. How does she still float?
That's to my mind that somebody would have seen her around the area, because that even from the news footage that they had at the time, you could see that water pooling up around there. She's not gonna. That's not a fast flowing river. I can show you fast flowing rivers. That is not one of them. I can guarantee you.
But that's the thing, like how they made it out. They made that out. Like, we understand that rivers, when they flood and things like that, they are dangerous because
the
current and stuff like that. But you could see from the top of it, like the swells and stuff like that, when there's a lot of undercurrent. That river, it doesn't really show that. It looks so still.
It's a really, really small river that, like if you go in person and see it with your own eyes, I couldn't define it as being fast flowing. I know it was different on the day when I saw it. I've seen it in summer, and when Nikki went in there, it was in February, and the grounds where it looks a lot different. It's more overgrown now when you go there, but the river, in terms of its flow, because it was probably around about the same height as when we went the other day, because we'd had a lot of thunderstorms, flash storms in the northwest and north of England, and you arrived the day before, and it had been raining, hadn't it? So there will have been rain draining down, so the water level would probably be in par with what it was on the day that Nikki went missing. But temperature-wise, warmer.
Yeah, I think when we went, when we had really bad rain there, I think the river actually ended up higher than when Nikki was missing.
Yeah, it would, because they didn't have a lot of rain in that February, did they?
No.
It was frosty.
Yeah,
I
but
could see the
there's
frost
no
on the
rain.
ground when the journalists were there, but not rain. And apparently somebody pulled up the water tables and had a look for that date and time when she would have been there, and said that the water level would have been about average for that river,
Yeah,
not high, not low, average.
no, exactly. Yeah, so I can't, I don't know how that coroner that video to count. I wondered myself the other night. I wonder if the coroner ever actually went to see the area himself.
That would be interesting to know, actually. Yeah, because it would help him visualize a little bit more. If he's looking at the camera footage that comes out of there, it looks bigger.
Yeah,
It really does. It's disorientating. And when you go there, it's that walk isn't very far down. The longest part of the walk apparently is the bit where I went, which was along the river path. But that's not long. I wouldn't consider that a long walk. And then you get to the fields, which are really not that not huge fields.
no, and that's the thing. Like, unless you actually go to that area, you can't literally say 100% what it's like, because when we went there, we was amazed by how close everything was. Um, and luckily we did manage to go there before the weeds and everything started to grow.
Yeah, it looks a lot different now. It really, it's overgrown. It's very, very pretty. You can like at the between the bench and the river now is just a mass of flowers, isn't it? Just a big mass of
Yeah,
flowers, and it looks beautiful. And I hope that spot gives Nikki's family some comfort someday, because it is a beautiful place. But yeah, I don't personally think she went in there.
no.
Really.
I believe that, you know, Nikki, she did drown. But
Yeah.
how she drowned and stuff like that,
It's the how, the
it's still a
when,
big
and the
question
where
mark.
that I've got the issue with.
Yeah. And like with the inquest, it just seemed like the police had only invited people. I know it's the coroner that invites people, but the people that got invited to the inquest are the people that are more with the police narrative. So the police side of things, rather than so like Peter Fording didn't go, because Peter Fording would be able to say, well, no, that side of the river is not tidal, it's not fast moving, it's slow moving.
Yeah, he's going to contradict what they say, isn't he?
So he didn't get invited. Um, trying to think. Yeah, it's just weird with like these witnesses that appeared. They hadn't even been heard of before the inquest. We heard of completely different witnesses that come and gone.
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Like, because it sounded like some of the people who initially gave witness testimonies for that day have pulled out. They've said, "Oh, I'm not sure if it's that day. I'm not that that's what I've heard, that they pulled out because they've had their doubts about whether or not what they saw is what they saw is what they think they saw, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's my
Or
thing.
when they saw it and things as well, they've just got doubts.
Yeah, Bad Fairies just put they would be paid to be there. I think that as well.
Said it in one.
Yeah.
Good
So
fairy.
yeah, that's the river side of things that, you know, I feel the police have, over exaggerated a couple of things. So let's go to the report of Nikki's toxicology report. So
Yeah.
obviously there was a percentage of alcohol found in her system, but this turned out to be due to the bacteria in her body.
It ferments, doesn't it? The
Yeah,
bacteria ferments.
but alcohol consumed via drinking was 0.
There we
So
go, please.
yeah,
Lancashire Police. 0.
0.
0. Apology.
Yeah, no, they should. I think they
Big
should.
apology to the nation for disclosing that, because
Yep,
that is absolutely disgusting
yep.
to say that about a person publicly. The whole world was speculating, or she's a bit of an alky, and
She was being called that as
it's
well.
wrong.
That's the thing, and it's like, why should about her taking the kids to school if she'd been drinking? It's like, come
Yeah,
on.
people were like really, really getting on that, like, and speculating, and and change their opinion of her character because of what Lancashire Police have said. And it sounds from what was said in the coroner's inquest that she had like occasional blip every now and again where she might get drunk and people were concerned about her, and it was the sister that rang in for the
Mental health
what are they
thing.
calling,
Yeah,
the safety check, which I suppose, like, at the end, she's there and she's seeing a sister in a bad way, she's going to phone an ambulance for her, isn't she? You're going to do that, you love your sister.
yeah. You're worried about them, so you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, it's been put out there again with Paul and Louise. Louise stayed there to support her sister. Paul was still in the house. The girls were still in the house. That is what families do. Just because the sister of Nikki, stays in that house does not mean that there's anything untoward happening. She is there to support her sister. End of case. And yeah, that riled me up. So back to the toxicology report. She did suffer with anxiety, but this was due to her work. So
Her
the anxiety,
job's really
yeah,
stressful as well, God bless it. Can I just touch on a job, actually? Because
yeah,
a job is selling mortgages for houses and maybe holiday home type things as well. Now, she would have probably started as being independent freelance, but that comes with no job security. So it sounded like she's got a promotion in work from what they said. And if she's got a promotion in work and then she's on the books, so she's salaried, it's a lot better for her. But she'd have a lot of really hard targets to hit, in terms of monetary value and in terms of items sold, so like number of mortgages that she sells. um it would have been possible for her to hit a target if she'd done a huge sale. Say she sold a house for, say, £2 million. That could have gone into her target, and she would have hit a target for the whole month from one sale in terms of value. But
yeah,
it's such a stressful job. I know
yeah,
so many people that do that job, and it is really, really stressful. She would also know a lot of privileged information about people as well. So she would know, if a person's got financial difficulties. Um, I'm not sure if she was able to directly search the credit file, or if it was an automated score thing that she'd have seen just the credit score, but she would have been privy to quite a lot of privileged information for sure.
yeah. And this is doing a job of that extent whilst being a house mum and a wife.
Yeah,
And everyone
she'd
knows what it's like when
have to
you've
be
got kids.
super organised.
Yeah. So she has been suffering with anxiety since December 2018, and she did have some tablets for them, which was obviously related to her job. It's I can never say this right, so forgive me if I get it wrong. Propanadol.
Propranolol.
See, I always get the dirt in
Propranolol.
it.
I know. I remember reading it on the label when I got prescribed that a few years ago for migraines. It's really good actually because it's got a little bit of it helps with migraines and headaches because she was suffering from headaches apparently.
Yeah, and
It
everyone knows
helps with
when you've got a headache.
depression. It's steroids. So it sort of like I think it opens up the capillaries in your blood, around your brain, and
Yeah,
it just helps sort of like soothe
you know,
your headache and make you and it'll probably I think it's got make it feel you'll say she's having a panic attack as well, and your blood pressure's going up, bring it right down.
yeah. And
That's what it's
she
in
was going
for.
through the perimenopause. Not that
Yeah,
I want to bring this up because obviously, but I am going to because of the police. So over December, she did have a blip because she came off the HRT because of how it was making her feel.
yeah.
Um, a long way for her with the medication because it's hard to set perfect dose for your beginning. So they start low, and they always keep changing it. So yeah,
And
she
they work it
had
up.
headaches, and then she couldn't sleep. So bless her, she did suffer with it as well. But who knows? I did suffer with some stuff. I've been taking medications, and it wasn't easy at the beginning. But we are only humans, right?
Yeah.
You got to let your body get used to it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had my fair share of medical stuff going on, and I was on propranolol, that was for migraines. Do you know what I discovered? I want to put this out there as well, just for anyone who's listening. My migraines were caused because I am allergic to sweeteners that they put in soft drinks. There's one called I'm just trying to remember it now. Aspartame. Everyone, if you're getting migraines and headaches and feeling sluggish, try cutting aspartame out your diet for a bit and see how you feel, because I did that and I discovered that my migraines, I still get them, but since cutting out the Diet Coke and everything, it's completely changed. Massive difference for the better. So do that. Also, diet piercings help as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, propranolol is a really it would have probably helped her in a lot of ways. But HRT as well. I'm exactly the same age as Nikki. I'm about 2 months older than her. And I'm going through perimenopause as well. So like all the friends that I know that I went to school with, and it's horrible. Some people are really going through the mill at the moment, bless their hearts. I've been getting hot flushes. It I can't describe it to a man. I'm just trying to think now. Set yourself on fire.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
a hot flush feels like. It just you feel hot and you feel sticky and you're burning up and your skin's like really prickling. It's horrible. The first few times you get that, you're like, what's going on here? And it's learning to manage that and having that along with stress, and you're feeling like you're going to bed and you're feeling like that in bed, and then you've got to go and have a busy day with the work and the kids the next morning. It's awful. It really is hard.
It is. We do have to go through it, don't we?
It's horrible. What we have to go through as women, honest to God.
Yeah.
It's
So
not nice.
yeah, it was June 2022 that she had her blood pressure taken, and all readings and blood tests, and all readings were normal at that point. But it was December that she was really going through the mill with it, and
Yeah. So
the
she's come off her meds because maybe there's an issue with her coming off them because she's been on them and she's come off them.
Yeah.
And then that's maybe knocked everything out of sync a little bit for her, and then she's gone back on them again, and then that stabilized her.
Yeah, and they were saying,
and that happens so many times.
yeah, and they all mentioned that in the weeks before the tragic incident happened, she was on a good high. She was loving life. She was back to her old self again. So it was like Nikki was Nikki again.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah.
It's horrible, isn't it? Like, to think that things can go from being on such a good ebb to next thing you're in that situation.
Yeah. No.
And
that's what they was all saying, even her parents saw her the night before. She was working. A lot of people had said that, where was Paul on the night before? He was working at home as well. So they was both there, and that's why the grandparents had the kids, which they do every Thursday, apparently. So, again, it's people.
everything's normal.
Yeah, just because the parents, Nikki's parents, had the kids, everyone's looking at it. So, well, where's Paul then? Well, he's working as well.
Yeah, it's really common, isn't it? For
Yeah.
people, any parents out there, people who've been parents will know this, that sometimes you just need your parents to step in a little bit and help. And my mum has my kids; she's having them tomorrow for me. And I think there's going to be a sleepover. I'm not sure. Hopefully.
When I was on my own with
R2, it's good, and that's how families are these days.
Yep. And when I was on my own with R2, I was literally one day I just rang my mum up. I was like, "Can you just come and have the kids?" And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "I just want to have a shower." And it's just things like that,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean any different. It's just that I wanted a shower in peace without ma'am. So
because when you've got little ones that they follow you around, and you have to have eyes in the back of your head, don't you? Because Nikki's kids are younger than mine, and they're probably at that age where, and I know the stage where they start, getting into trouble if you're focusing on work, and they go quiet, and it's usually not a good thing.
Yeah, and I know.
I found my two paints in the garage.
Yeah, I know Nikki's eldest is the same as, or Nikki and Paul's eldest is the same as our daughter. And if she's anything like our daughter, she just does not stop talking. She's literally, someone's put about 50p in her. She just keeps going and going and going. But yeah.
So if Paul's like an engineer and he's trying to work from home, and Nikki's trying to sort out her sales and everything, then there are probably times where they ask the grandparents to step in and take the kids, and that's just like totally normal, isn't it? It's just, I know loads of people that do it.
Yeah.
They might say, pick them up from school and take them to yours for a bit, and then bring them home later. We'll put them to bed.
Yeah. See, Nikki's parents, they wasn't going to give evidence at the inquest, and then they decided they wanted to, so they asked the coroner if they could give evidence, and the coroner agreed.
Yeah,
so
that's good. I'm glad that they had a solicitor there as well, because I think that the amount of hassle the families had, and just so that a solicitor can listen to the inquest and hear the evidence, just in case in the future if they do have any doubts about how the whole situation was dealt with as well. They've got that legal witness, if that makes sense. If solicitors watching as well.
which one is Angela Fletcher, by the way?
Angela
I
Fletcher
heard,
pops up on social media. Nobody
yeah,
seems to know exactly who she is.
no,
She's made some allegations about some people that she knows who she believes, I believe she truly believes that these people are behind something regarding Nicola's disappearance. And she said on social media she's been to the police, but it's just been discounted. Um, it's what you don't know how factual everything is.
no, no. Because she does say her brother-in-law, doesn't she?
Yes.
So who she is a sister of, or if she's married to someone, I don't know.
Well, a brother-in-law could be have the same surname as her,
Yeah,
which is one of the family surnames, which has been a witness as well to it all.
yeah,
That surname's come into things a lot, but you don't know what people have been just writing things to confuse us and um I don't know, to cause trouble. I don't know. I'm not saying Angela's doing this, by the way. I'm just saying that I've seen other posts from other people who seem to be just trying out there to cause trouble and confusion.
yeah. I
But
know. So
I just hope to God Angela has been to the police and investigated it. And then if it does get investigated, the whole case, not just the issue about them disclosing Nicola's medical records live, but if the whole police force is investigated on their treatment of Nikki's disappearance and subsequent death, then I hope that they look into um, witness testimonies that got discounted.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, I've just seen the time we've been going for an hour and a half. You've got to be up early in the morning, so should we
Yeah,
call
I'm gonna
it night for now, and then
yeah, I think that's best. Yeah.
yeah, then we will touch base in a couple of days again and go through some other bits of it because there is a lot to
That
cover.
sounds good.
And I will be more
Yeah, 'cause
prepared next time and have everything in front of me.
I know. Yeah, well, we've got we took some photographs whilst we went for the walk. It was beautiful. The two little swans in the river. It's
Yeah,
gorgeous. I had to get a photo of them. I thought that was quite apt, and the butterflies as well. Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah. We had a really nice orange butterfly um, land in front of us. And
Yeah,
obviously, I know people have different perceptions of stuff like this, but it just, both of us was like, oh, it just felt like there was a bit of a spirit there in front of us.
yeah,
And
for sure.
there was another one where
I think
I was trying to take a video of the river where the coroner believes that Nikki entered. And as I was turning the camera, there was a branch in my way. And at that time that my camera got to that branch, the wind blew the branch up out of my way so I could carry on getting that view. And I just felt myself say, oh, thanks, Nikki. It's just things like that. And I'm not really like that normally, but it's
yeah, you just felt like she was sat on your shoulder a little bit
yeah,
whilst we were there.
it was just the
It was
timing and everything. But
yeah.
yeah,
For
what we'll
for
do,
me, it was
um,
seeing the swans because I've
yeah,
got a thing with swans.
and that place where Nikki used to walk Willow, I can't help but say it is such a beautiful place. It
You can
really,
see why she went there all the time.
yeah,
I would be there as well if I had something like that so close by as well.
yeah, I would walk there without a dog. It is just lovely,
Yeah,
and I just hope that with all this, everyone is just now safe, and I do hope that the council will put some safety measures in there because we've covered the fact that there's no life-saving equipment there, no life buoys or anything like that. So I hope, you know, even if it's in memory of Nikki, that they put something there now, because something needs to be done.
Yeah, well, I think a few life buoys in the area, and maybe some ropes as well and stuff. That if anyone gets in danger, from my training, ropes are really good because you can get them out to the person and just like literally, if you can grab it and they can just hold it and could be pulled in, or you can throw it in a certain way that it actually wraps around them, a lasso as well. But you get with I think you need someone with a bit of lifeguard experience to do that, but it's a very inexpensive precaution,
No, exactly.
so to have these aids available.
Yeah, but no. So what we do is in the next couple of days, we'll touch on the later part of the inquest, and what was found, and how much it just feels like it's just been covered up a little bit more. But
Yeah, by the police, incidentally. I
yeah,
think because I was quite vocal about the coroner, and I still to this day do not understand why he discounted Peter Falding's testimony and didn't want to hear that. Because I think if you took a balanced view of things, he is a key witness, and
yeah,
even if it contradicts what the police are saying, he was still a key witness in terms of the search for Nikki.
yeah.
And
And all the images that that he's got as well.
they're
Been
facts, aren't
so
they? There, you're
helpful.
not disputing those.
Yeah,
They proved that she was not in that part of the river. And he went and did. I think he did the whole river. He did do the area where Nikki was found with his sonar, didn't he?
yeah, no,
So he's got that
yes,
imaging
exactly.
available.
And it really upset me. Well, not upset me, but made me angry when I heard that he wasn't going to be there, because he went up there to help out the goodness of his own heart, and he done that for free, and the police just basically just treated him like, I won't swear on live, but you can imagine what I want to say.
Yeah, I'll say he got treated like shit. He got treated like a scapegoat. He was absolutely, um, he was victimized himself, wasn't he, by the police? That he was there, scapegoat, the poor boy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, we're literally, we'll go through the other bit of stuff we've got written down on the inquest, and we will go live again in a couple of days. But I just hope that, I know a lot of people are still speculating like that, but all I can ask is just please, just put yourself in their shoes and imagine what they're going through right now, and
Yeah.
just lay off it, and just hope that if anything does come out in the future, that it'll be for the
Yeah,
right.
so I know why people did speculate, and that's because the police weren't open and honest, and
you know
communicating with the public in a really positive way. That's why people started speculating,
Yeah,
and that is a failure on the police's part, in my
yeah.
opinion.
We've
Um,
done it. I'm not gonna lie, we did speculate and things like that, but it
yeah,
wasn't really until lately that it's come to light, really, more than anything, that it's all been they've been kind of guided by what to say and stuff like that by the police.
yeah, and they 100% are writing the narrative for everyone on this, and it's kind of like ticking boxes for them, and it's not fair on the family.
No.
Because they're trying to talk honestly, give interviews, and they're being told, "Oh, I can't say this, I can't say that," and oh, you know, I'd love to speak to the family to find out exactly what they were told as well, because you know, my heart goes out to them because they trusted the police. I believe that,
Yeah.
and I think they got screwed over by the police as well.
And you don't know,
Um, but
you don't
the-
know in a few months' time when um they start to process things, because you've got to remember, not only are they trying to grieve for their family member, like their daughter, their sister, their partner, um they've had to deal with all of this online, so
yeah,
had time to process everything. And
and it's not just YouTube; it's Facebook, it's
yeah,
Twitter, it's everywhere. And some
TikTok,
of the stuff I've seen is sick, and
yeah.
I just, sick as in vomit sick. By the way, I know I've got a Scouse accent, but um, no, not good. Um, but yeah, there's no need for it, because it's like these are real people with real feelings, and they are real. I know firsthand what they are going through, and I couldn't have spoken to you at the time when my partner very first passed away. His coroner's inquest took 2 years to come to be heard because of COVID and delays, etc. And there was a complications with jurisdictions and everything. But it was horrendous. And going through the coroner's inquest after 2 years brought it all back up again. And I think I got triggered by what happened to Nikki, because I'm looking at the family thinking, oh my God, that she's gone missing, and then I didn't see them doing all these searches of the buildings, and and I heard Paul say in his own words, search the lands, search the buildings. He said that.
Yeah, and I must
So
admit, when
when
he done his Channel 5 interview, I did feel um how he was just strange. But then I kind of look at it and think he could have just been so nervous, because it had already been out there that all these speculations and people had already been, contacted him. He's had, God knows how, he's had his, I think, LinkedIn account hacked. The amount this guy has gone through, and he's had to deal with all of that, as well as the stress of trying to keep his daughters upbeat because their mum's not there, and the fact that his partner's missing.
Yeah, I just get the impression that he might be like a little bit of an introvert
Yeah.
as well, and going and speaking on TV is really intimidating for people
Oh, I would.
who are
I
not
would be
used to it.
exactly the same if it was me. Exactly the
Yeah,
same, because I hate having any sort of attention on me or anything like that. I don't. You probably guess from these lives, because sometimes I feel a bit like awkward, but I'm just not one of those people that I can't. If I'm can avoid any situation like that, I will.
yeah. I've been on telly. No, I was talking to a journalist one time, and then next thing you know, the cam the camera swings in my face, and there's a big, massive microphone, a fluffy microphone, shoved
Oh,
like really high above me, and and the person I was talking to said, "Carry on, carry your mouth, carry on." So I was talking, I was completely unprepared for it, and then afterwards I said, "Is that going on?" And he said, "Don't know, it's up to the editor." And it did go live on the news. I know they grabbed a few people that day, and it's always bloody me that ends up.
yeah.
They get people going, "You're on the news." I'm like, "Oh my God." But
Oh,
I don't. The thing is, I'm not an introvert, but I think he is.
yeah. No,
But
exactly.
I still cringe when I still find it very, very difficult to do that sort of thing. And you know, like, if looking at Emma as well, I believe she might be a little bit more prepared. You know, I think she's done a lot more public speaking, and you know, she works in marketing, and people have not heard her words, listened to her words. Her words are, she's scared a friend's gone missing.
Yeah.
And that's what she was saying, and she's trying to get across. And then people have just completely went and twisted that in the completely the wrong direction. And you know, it's just what the whole family and friends network have been through. Is just, my heart goes out to them. I'm really sorry for them.
But yeah, we do this every time. We say we're going to go, and then we carry on chatting.
Yeah.
So
But when we say we're going to go, just sort of like add on like 10 minutes
we always think
for an hour.
something else that we need to say. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be back in a couple of days. What I might try and do is kind of type up how the timeline went, that the police put
That
it
would
out,
be really good if you could have a
Yeah.
comparison,
and
pull up
get
the
old-
timeline that they had, and then compare it
get
to
the
what
old
they gave in
timeline
court.
out so we can see how much the police have changed it. And also,
Yeah, and the different,
try and give
the new
them,
witnesses that have come about
Yeah.
as well.
Like images like of the day, and when he was doing his video, when we went, and stuff like that. So different sort of images.
Yeah,
So on that note, we will say
we
goodbye.
will. We will have to go.
I know everyone obviously isn't going to be over the moon with what some of the stuff we said, but you know, just put yourself in their shoes. That's all we say. Put yourself in their shoes,
Yeah.
and how would you handle the situation? But hopefully you will come back to our next one. If not, it's been nice to have you here, and thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
So have a good couple of days, and we shall speak to you soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I just hope you're all good and everything, and just keep on fighting for justice, because I don't think that the police have got out of this quite yet.
A lot of lessons have got to be learned from the police's side, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, but you guys, thanks for coming on with us. And I'm not dissing all the content on YouTube, because what I'm referring to is social media like Facebook, Twitter, all of the across the board. They're just it's been horrendous.
And it's got more toxic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Since the inquest, it's got more toxic. So yeah.
Yeah.
It comes up, but
if you're listening after we've gone, if you're listening, just put your thoughts down on the comment section as well.
Thank you.
You do read them. Essex boys, you're lovely. Thanks. You're always a pleasure.
I can't read because the font of the writing. I'm hoping I've got your name right. Proving audacity. Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to get a nice picture of Nikki up, just to have in the background while we were talking.
Civil lessons. Thank you as well.
Yes, thank you, Essex boys. So take
I was going to thank two strangers then.
I got it right. Yes, but yeah, we will talk to you all soon. Take care, and
yeah, and good fairy, bad fairy.
Comment on the post afterwards. We will literally contact you back. We will write a comment back to you. So
yeah, we read all the comments and everything, and try and keep everything. You know, what you think is important to us, and if you've got any thoughts on the case as well, that you'd like us to discuss, we're more than happy.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, right, be kind, everyone, and we shall speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.